the volunteer army had visited the Nether region. The purpose of their trip was to investigate the rumors that an organization led by a man who called himself the Knight of Darkness was working in the shadows and disturbing the people of the region. 3 years ago, the defeat of Genghis seemed to have put an end to the bandits' activities that had been happening from Liatfrost to the Gloth region. The volunteers investigated and discovered that Jenga was still only a mere puppet. The name of the one who also used Jenga as a puppet was Baldur. Baldur's identity was completely unknown, only that he was active in the Nether region and around the AHM woodlands. After much distress, Tristan decided to become the general in the volunteer army. It was because he was obeying the words Estrada had said just before he was about to take his last breath, to not run away from his fate. If Tristan couldn't lead the volunteer army, he probably wouldn't be able to free Zenobia. He thought this was a good opportunity to test himself to see if he could face the destiny he carried. Tristan sent a small group of people out to find out what was happening in the Nether region to determine whether or not the volunteers should go. Finally, over the course of 3 years, a situation was created in which the volunteer army could play an active role in the Nether region. Tristan informed the members lurking in the city that they were ready and began to form a unit on the outskirts of Cassandro. However, in the Nether region, the volunteer army were in for something unexpected. As the volunteers liberated one city after another, Baldur's army made no move. There was no resistance at all, and within a few days the liberation of the Nether region was concluded. As much as they expected a fierce battle, the volunteers seemed to be missing something. In response to such an abnormal situation, Tristan decided to gather his commanders and held a meeting to decide on the course of action.
After all, there were no enemy units in the region.
Indeed. There is no enemy army in the liberated cities, and there are no signs of the enemy taking up formation.
There is no sign of a formation. In other words, Baldur's army was not in the region at all.
In terms of troops, no. But those who are working under Baldur's will are certainly here. They are kidnapping people.
Kidnapping?
That's right. There have been a number of incidents in which people suddenly disappear from the surrounding cities. It seems that there is no context at all as to who they select. Regardless of age or gender, they suddenly disappear.
What is Baldur doing with these kidnapped people? Are they planning on doing something that requires manpower? Are they building a stronghold?
There doesn't seem to be any sign of that. Rumor has it that the kidnapped people are taken to Sicht in the Norodom region. It means that he is imprisoned in a place called Sicht Prison.
That's strange.
It is strange. What's even stranger is that according to the residents, it is Baldur's followers who are kidnapping these people.
Followers, not troops.
That's right.
But what kind of religion do they follow?
On the continent, Roshful was mainly worshipped, but in some cases, there were people who worshipped dark gods or followed other deities.
That's weird too. It doesn't seem to be a specific religion, but if I had to give it a name, Baldurianism. Does that work?
Is Baldur a religious person?
It was not uncommon for a person who was worshipped to create a religion of their own. However, such teachings had not been widely disseminated and had become obsolete after the death of the person in a limited number of local beliefs.
I don't know about that. Baldur, the Knight of Darkness, is usually the name the inhabitants hear. He calls himself a knight, so I don't think he's a religious person.
Then why the followers?
Putting all the rumors together, the so-called followers of Balder are the ones who put his ideology into practice. So I don't think it's exactly a religion.
What is Balder's ideology?
According to someone who has heard his speeches, creating a world without conflict does not mean that anyone suffers. Balder preaches that there will come a time when there will be no such thing.
A world without conflict. If it's true, I'd welcome it.
I don't like it. That's what Jenga said at first.
Other than that, the city of Megaholton is an important base for Balder. At present, it seems to be the center of his army.
How many enemy troops are there?
I don't know exactly, but it seems to be about 4 to 5 times that of the volunteer army. However, this is at most a low estimate.
In other words, should we think that there are more than 5 times as many troops? Also, this Megaholton, what kind of city is it?
It is a fortified city. It is protected by a wall, so you can only enter and exit from a limited area. The enemy has many chokeholds, so it will be very difficult to attack.
It's a nasty place.
So how are the troops moving?
This also doesn't make sense. A large army is stationed, but there does not seem to be a clear operation.
Is Balder that stupid?
It cost money to maintain an army. Supplies and soldiers' salaries were needed, and maintaining such expenses was a necessity whether or not the army was operating or not. Therefore, when a large army was deployed, it was usually best to act quickly and try to finish the operation as soon as possible. It would be the height of folly to leave the army unattended without a major operation.
Come to think of it, yes. Balder must have enough money, right?
Or perhaps those in the army are followers of Balder's ideology.
Perhaps. Fanatics, who don't need money or value their lives. Could that be it?
Tristan nodded at Kane's words. The volunteer army had a similar aspect.
So, what's the plan from now on? In fact, Megaholton and Norodom are almost the same distance from here.
With our strength, we can't liberate both.
That's true. We don't have enough strength to attempt a two-sided strategy. According to my resources, there are rumors that Balder is in the woodlands. You can get to the woodlands from both, but you can't go back and forth between Megaholton and Norodom.
Well, we can only capture one of them. In that case, you should decide which way we are going to march.
I think we should hit the enemy base. After all, it's an unidentified opponent. We should make sure to hit the enemy stronghold and find out their identity.
No, rather than fighting, saving people should be the priority. If innocent people are being held captive, they should be released. Aren't they fighting too?
Oh, that's very righteous. But releasing the prisoners won't necessarily stop them from kidnapping people. The enemy will just lock them up somewhere else. To prevent that from happening, we should crush the enemy's stronghold.
No. What kind of victory would it be to leave those who suffer and win the battle? Otherwise, we are the same as the enemy. Are we not fighting to free people from suffering?
Yes, but helping a few people won't change the situation. We must liberate all people. That is why I'm fighting.
It doesn't matter if it's one or many. Just as the great river begins with a drop of water, so do we to ease the people's suffering. We should help each and every one of them.
I understand both your opinions.
Which one are you going to go with?
Of course, we will free those who are suffering, right? But can I ask one thing? Surely you are both right. Ideally, we should do both, but unfortunately, we don't have the power to do so. I will meditate on it tonight, including what you've just said, and tomorrow morning I will announce the best conclusion for the volunteer army. How does that sound?
Okay, Tristan, you're the general.
That sounds fair. I have no objections.
All right, then we're going to call it a day.
The assembled members of the volunteer army stood up and left the tavern. Only Tristan and Cain were left behind.
Hey, Cain, which way do you think we should go?
I don't think the outcome will change no matter which way we go.
Yep. On the surface, it seems so.
Then why are you so hesitant?
I'm worried that I can't see Balder's movements. The army and the followers are inconsistent.
True, they don't use the army to subdue people, and they don't use followers to spread their ideology.
Instead of claiming that they will create a world without conflict or an era where no one is sad, I haven't seen any concrete actions.
Sure, what they're doing is unpredictable.
Well, if you think deeply about Mega Holton, you may have other thoughts.
Other thoughts?
Balder may be waiting for us to move.
That must be it. Are you going to mobilize your troops in response to this move?
If we believe the rumors of kidnapped people and liberate Scythed Prison, we will be squashed in between Woodlands and Mega Holton's troops who have bypassed the Netha region.
I see. We don't have enough margin to leave our troops behind. And if that's true, then we have no choice but to go to Mega Holton.
I think so, but I'm not confident in that either.
What's that? If you can read the situation that much, it won't be a problem, right?
I can't read it. I'm just thinking the worst based on our numbers and the situation of Mega Holton's troops. I'm not sure.
But considering the worst, it's the only way, right?
True. This situation depends on how you think about it, and it seems either way has its risks.
It's a strange one.
Yes, but one thing is certain, this is the intended situation. Balder must be planning something, he must have a grand idea.
Why do you think so?
It's still vague and I can't put it into words. But unlike Kazuma, Galen, and Jenga, there is almost too much information here to judge the situation. I think this is because they want us to think about something.
Does that mean Balder is watching our movements?
It feels like that.
Really? But why didn't you tell everyone about this earlier?
It would only make everyone anxious. One of my jobs is to make everyone feel safe and getting them to fight.
Is that so?
The next day, Tristan told everyone what the next move would be. Most of the members seemed satisfied with Tristan's decision.
Why do you seek a battle without releasing those who are suffering?
You're disappointed with the general's decision.
Nana, stop it. Aquarius, it's no wonder you're unhappy. I also want to help people who are suffering as soon as possible. But considering the current situation, we have no choice but to go to Mega Holton.
What do you mean?
I also considered ignoring Mega Holton and going to release Scythed Prison, but in that case, the army could be pinned by the enemy.
But
of course, there is a possibility that the enemy will not appear, but if we are caught in the middle, we'll have no chance to win. We can't risk that and head to Sict prison. I know how you feel, but there's a limit to what we can do with our power. You know that, don't you?
I understand. Subject to the judgment of the general.
Thank you. All right, the whole army is heading to Megaholton.